Ergogenic aids, becoming Superman. As discussed in the outset of Eat Clean, Be Lean, the last 2 to 5% of your results may come from supplements. Specifically, I'd like to address the class of supplements known as ergogenic aids, or those substances known to help boost your performance in the gym, because who doesn't want to feel like Superman? After getting your sleep, mindset, and food in order, the last little piece of the puzzle that may help you on your way to becoming the athlete you've always dreamed of becoming is performance-enhancing drugs, otherwise known as PEDs. The list of illicit substances that have been banned from sport is lengthy, but for everyday recreational exercise activity, you don't need to worry about getting caught. Just kidding. Drugs are bad. Just say no. Did I trick you? I'm so funny. Seriously, however, there are a wide variety of perfectly safe and effective substances known as ergogenic aids or sports supplements that may give you that little extra boost or zing. But first, a warning. The supplement industry is rife with garbage that isn't very well documented to have any real beneficial effects supported by scientific studies or literature, yet they make claims that are full of marketing magic. Even worse, however, is the crisis of extremely insufficient regulation and oversight of the supplements industry. So buyer beware. More and more frequently, it seems to be happening that undercover whistleblowers keep busting even some of the top brands in the industry for falling short on their claims, and in some cases, uncovering egregious instances of banned substances finding their way into sports supplements due to poor manufacturing practices and even intentional adulteration of product. Additionally, because of the severe lack of regulation over the supplements industry, it's very easy for new companies to spring up and sell whatever they want under the guise of something else. There have been reports of supplements not containing any of the listed active ingredients and instead being filled with useless fillers like rice and even allergenic substances on the fillers like rice starch and even some known allergens like wheat starch without even claiming the allergenic substances on the product labels. So again, buyer beware. It can be a crapshoot. This is why I try not to advocate too much for the use of supplements. However, relying on a few trusted brands or companies that can provide evidence of third-party testing or certificates of analysis for their products along with good long-standing reputations makes it easier to recommend a few things that could be worthwhile. However, the industry is also corrupt in faking these certificates of analysis for products, so again, know who you're buying from, and I wouldn't trust most companies or brands at face value without researching them and their reputation a little bit first. On top of the lack of oversight and regulation running amok in the supplements industry is the fact that loads of supplements in the market simply do not have the research to back up their claims. This does not mean that there's not a potential benefit or that the claims are false. It just means in many cases there's not enough evidence to advocate for the use of certain miracle performance enhancers. However, there are a few that do have a robust body of evidence backed by practice and the scientific literature supporting both the safety and the effectiveness of their use. So here's my list of the ones that are worthwhile to use. Number 1, creatine monohydrate. For some weird reason, creatine seems to have a bad rap, perhaps due to uninformed scaremongering type journalism throughout the years, but it's simply not true. Creatine is one of the most widely researched supplements with loads of evidence to support its effectiveness. Look to supplement with 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate each day. It's not timing specific, any time will do. Stick to the monohydrate form. There are other variations on the market, but creatine monohydrate is what you want. Yes, women can use it too. I currently supplement 5 grams of creatine monohydrate a day myself. Some people choose not to use it due to the water holding side effects, aka water weight gain. It does draw intramuscular water into the cells, so may lead to a slight increase in body weight, but it's minor and it's not fat. Please note, 20% of people are non-responders to creatine because your body produces enough on its own, and you also get dietary creatine from eating meat. Vegetarians possibly respond best to creatine supplementation. Often it is recommended to load creatine with high doses for several days, 10 to 20 grams a day, before switching to maintenance level dosages of 3 to 5 grams a day. Current research suggests this is not necessary. You'll get results with consistent daily use at low doses regardless. You can add creatine monohydrate powder to water in the morning or add it directly to your workout drink. It may be most effective to take with carbs initially as well. Many recommend cycling the use for about 12 weeks, then stopping for a few weeks. The most recent recommendations I have read, including from my trusted source Precision Nutrition, say with 3 to 5 grams a day, there is no need for creatine cycling. Just use low doses indefinitely. I've read mixed reviews on this recommendation, including the Precision Nutrition article I've linked here. Lastly, read more in this great comprehensive article from Precision Nutrition all about creatine. You can skim past the sciencey bit at the beginning for a good overview on the safety and effectiveness. Number 2, caffeine. Yes, our good old friend caffeine has been shown in many studies to effectively enhance and increase endurance and strength and power output in athletic performance. However, everyone has different rates of caffeine metabolism, so it may affect one person completely differently than another. It's also important to note that you build caffeine tolerance over time, so regular use of caffeine will lead to diminishing results as a sports performance enhancer. If you truly want to derive the acute benefits of caffeine on sport performance, you should cycle caffeine or do a caffeine tolerance reset periodically. The withdrawals might be very unpleasant, but the gains you'll get upon reintroduction may give you that extra oomph to hit a new PB or outperform your competition. It's important to note that caffeine is a toxic substance and it can kill you, so stick to intakes not exceeding about 500 milligrams a day. You'd have to try pretty hard to exceed safe limits, though, as toxicity is reported at ridiculously high doses from 20 to 40 milligrams per kilogram body weight. That's about the equivalent of more than 17 shots of espresso. Also be aware that ingesting caffeine at greater than 250 milligrams will raise your blood pressure. Finally, be careful not to consume too much caffeine close to bedtime. If you train late in the afternoon or evening, you might be better off skipping the caffeinated pre-workout. Even if you are able to fall asleep, the negative impact it will have over your sleep quality will be far more detrimental to your performance and health than any perceived advantage derived in one workout. If you do want to opt for a good caffeine performance boost, studies show doses of greater than 5 milligrams per kilogram body weight significantly increases power output in individuals who do not have a built-up tolerance. If you have prolonged chronic use of caffeine, you likely have a tolerance. Time to do a reset. Use the caffeine about half an hour before you train, although studies also show the effects of a single dose of caffeine can still be effective up to 6 hours later. No need for double dosing within that time frame. Anywhere from 4 to 6 milligrams per kilogram body weight seems to be effective for performance enhancement, while some studies have shown benefits in doses as low as 3 milligrams per kilogram body weight. However, if you are not a habitual caffeine user, start with lower doses, maybe around 100 milligrams, which is about 1 cup of coffee, to assess your reaction and move up gradually from there. A regular cup of coffee or 1 shot of espresso has around 75 to 100 milligrams of caffeine, and there are many different pre-workout supplements in the market that contain anywhere from 180 to 400 milligrams of caffeine per dose. Be sure to experiment with the lower end before hopping yourself up on loads of caffeine, as too much can make you all nervous and jittery. Not what you want before a max snatch attempt. Read more about caffeine and all of the research here in this great examine.com article. Beta-alanine, number 3. This non-essential amino acid is a supplement I've only recently gotten behind as a beneficial inclusion in your workout stack. Studies show it helps increase performance in the 60 to 240 second range. Very effective for some of our CrossFit style workouts. It can also aid in lean mass gain, which we're all keen to have, as well as some evidence showing an anti-aging effect. How's that for a trifecta of benefits for a wonder supplement? Beta-alanine may cause tingling sensations in your hands or face within half an hour of consumption. This sensation, called paresthesia, is harmless, and some really like the feeling and take it to be a buzz to get ready for training, while others may find it unpleasant. Standard doses of 2 to 5 grams of beta-alanine a day can increase your strength endurance to bust out a few more extra reps during your workout. It's mostly beneficial for strength endurance, and no benefits have been seen for power sports, like a 1-rep max or weightlifting powerlifting style training. Despite the perception of an immediately enhanced buzz from beta-alanine, it is not timing dependent nor necessary to take specifically as a pre-workout. Much like creatine, general loading of beta-alanine at any time of day is all you need to reap the benefits. It doesn't work as an acute response to a single dose, but more of a long-term buildup in your body that makes it effective. Number 4, glucose or dextrose. While this is merely a simple sugar and not a substance I'd typically classify specifically as a performance-enhancing supplement, I still want to mention that studies have shown consumption of dextrose or glucose, same thing, different name, during training may reduce the level of perceived exertion during exercise, meaning it makes hard exercise not feel as hard, so you can exercise even harder. Hooray! And because we have glucose receptors in our mouths, even a quick swish and spit of a glucose solution, like sports drinks or dextrose mixed in water, can still provide the performance benefit even if it's not swallowed. Number 5, amino acids. And finally, while these would not necessarily be considered performance enhancers either, they are worth mentioning again because they're prolific. Branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, and/or other essential amino acids. These are often included in sports pre-workouts, and I've already covered them in the discussion on protein, linked here. In an adequate diet with enough animal food sources of protein, you're likely meeting your amino acid needs without additional supplementation, especially if you already use a quality whey protein. The branched chain amino acids you need for optimal muscle recovery will likely be met through your whey. However, if training fasted or in a caloric deficit for weight loss, or if you rely heavily on plant sources of protein, then you would likely benefit from the use of BCAAs to enhance muscle recovery, particularly the amino acid leucine. Be aware that plant-based sources of protein are often deficient in one or more essential amino acid, particularly leucine, so be sure to choose a wide variety of protein sources or just opt to supplement BCAAs. Also, flavored BCAAs are tasty. And that's it. As far as safe and legal and proven effective performance enhancers or ergogenic aids, these are the only ones I feel comfortable recommending. Sure, there are loads of other things on the market, but I'd just look out for the ones mentioned here and be skeptical of the rest. Anything else added into the blend may or may not help or hurt, and may or may not even be present in the supplement at all. But the ones mentioned here would likely deliver the most bang for your buck with solid proof to back them up. Again, the field of nutrition and supplementation is a fluid field. New advances in research and opinions are constantly evolving along with new research, etc. This is the best I can do for this moment in time. My protein or bulk powders or Optimum Nutrition seem to be good sources for purchasing supplements. Again, check out the links I provided in the supplementation cheat sheet, which I've also linked here. One last thing I like to consider, in my opinion, on the use of performance aids, the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a very real phenomenon. Therefore, if you believe you're taking something that's giving you superpowers, regardless of the real physiological effectiveness of the substance, if it works for you, then more power to you, literally. As always, please inform yourself, experiment on yourself, and don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions.